President Obama will formally ask Congress tomorrow for more than $2 billion to deal with the border crisis, but he's making changes to his request. He's abandoning a plan to send tens of thousands of unaccompanied children caught crossing the border back faster without seeing judges. Instead, the funding will go to immigration judges, detention facilities, and legal aid. Still, the White House insists most will eventually be sent back home. Some Americans are not happy. Illegal immigrants are being housed at Border Patrol stations all across the country. In Murrieta, California, police plan to clear out dozens of protesters who began blocking roads, blocking buses full of illegal immigrants from Texas. In the meantime, Dallas County is moving forward with plans to bring some of those children to North Texas. Fox 4's Richard Ray spoke to some groups putting out an urgent plea for help, but it's not the groups you might expect. Richard's live. Rich.
Good evening, Steve. Both the American Immigration Lawyer Association, AILA, and the Dallas Hispanic Bar put out urgent pleas today. Help from lawyers, they say, for the thousands of children that will be in Dallas County later this month.
We have had a tremendous response.
Attorney Monica Lira says an email sent out today with an urgent call for help has prompted large numbers of lawyers to offer their services free, and not just immigration lawyers.
Real estate attorneys, family law attorneys, somebody who's never done immigration law in their life, who have volunteered to take on some of these cases and help these children out. Legal status here.
Lira says over the next 2 weeks, classes will be offered to lawyers who want to help but are not up to speed on immigration law. Lira was among a group of people that joined Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins on Sunday, walking the neighborhood around one of the proposed shelter sites, an alternative education building in Grand Prairie, answering questions and trying to allay concerns about the coming flood of children.
They're being treated like they're criminals, and they're not.
Catholic Charities Fort Worth held an informational meeting today that attracted several dozen people, among them those who are eager to help.
My grandfather was a Russian orphan on the orphan train, and somebody had to adopt him and help him. So I thought, well, we could at least try to do our part to help.
Shelter contracts are for 120 days. 2,000 children are expected, but there may be more.
We're talking multiples of 2,000. And in my opinion, it'd be much more than that. It'd be in the tens of thousands.
I think the biggest problem that we have right now is that our immigration laws are antiquated.
George Rodriguez with the American Immigration Lawyers Association says immigration reform is greatly needed, but the border surge is a humanitarian crisis driven by violence in Central America, not an immigration problem.
If we were looking at another country in the, outside of the United States, we'd consider them to be refugees. We've seen through our own practice some of these kids who are coming up, and what they're telling us is they've got great fear of the gang violence, of being recruited into gangs. And when you're getting recruited into a gang, there's no choice. I mean, they're there, they're threatening their lives, they're threatening their family, they're threatening, their parents' livelihood. So the only choice that they have, the only choice that these parents have, is to get these kids out of the country.
Keep in mind that the children cannot be sent back under current law to Central America. They must be held humanely here in the United States by the Department of Health and Human Services until the courts release them to a suitable family member if they can find that. Otherwise, they have to be put in foster care. Again, by law, they cannot be deported immediately, Steve, and the immigration courts are overflowing.
All right, Richard Ray in downtown Dallas. Thank you.